Their appearance is undeniably adorable. With their fluffy coats and charming demeanor. Yet they stand as the most lethal bears ever encountered by humankind. The sloth bear's preference for termites, honey, and fruit may camouflage its ferocious nature and formidable canines, rendering it one of the most menacing predators on the Indian subcontinent. Unfortunately, due to the vast human population inhabiting most of its range and its aggressive temperament, attacks on humans by these bears are all too frequent. Sloth bear attacks are more prevalent than those by feared species like tigers and leopards when non-fatal incidents are taken into account. In fact, the annual number of fatal sloth bear attacks in a single Indian province surpasses the average global count of such attacks by brown bears. It is important to note that these attacks are generally defensive in nature rather than predatory. Nonetheless, there is one particular sloth bear known as the Sloth Bear of Mysore that has gained notoriety for being one of the most prolific man-eating bears ever recorded, responsible for claiming the lives of at least 12 individuals. Sloth bears possess long, shaggy fur, particularly around their faces, and boast elongated sickle-shaped claws. Their fur is predominantly black, although some specimens exhibit a rusty hue, and they may have a whitish wire V-shaped mark on their chests. Unlike other bears, sloth bears lack an undercoat, which helps keep them cool in tropical climates and shields them from insects. Generally, sloth bears are solitary creatures, although they are occasionally spotted in pairs. They are primarily nocturnal, although females become more active during the daytime when accompanied by their cubs. Sloth bears do not hibernate. Instead, they create their resting spots using broken branches and trees, and seek refuge in caves during the wet season. They ascend trees both to feed and to rest, although they prefer to stand their ground rather than flee from adversaries. In 1957, there was an exceptionally aggressive Indian sloth bear known as the Sloth Bear of Mysore. This bear was responsible for the deaths of at least 12 people and the mauling of 24 others. While cases of bear attacks on humans were not uncommon in India, this particular individual exhibited a unique behavior of consuming its victims. Some accounts surrounding this bear sound like typical legends and folklore. One story suggests that a male sloth bear abducted a girl, considering her as its chosen one. However, the girl was ultimately rescued by the residents of Mysore, one of India's largest cities. According to this tale, subsequent attacks on humans were believed to be acts of revenge for the girl's escape. Another version, which holds more plausibility, proposes that the dangerous bear was actually a female whose cubs had been killed by humans. Both narratives share a common theme, a desire for revenge. Interestingly, sloth bears are not large creatures, with the largest males weighing between 80 and 192 kilograms, and females ranging from 55 to 124 kilograms. Considering the destructive capabilities of these relatively small sloth bears, one can only imagine the devastation that could be caused by grizzly bears or Kodiak bears. The initial recorded incidents occurred in 1957 within the Nagavara Hills, located approximately 100 miles away from Bangalore. Inhabiting the elevated terrain scattered with boulders, the bear would descend during the evening to search for food in the farmlands below. Upon encountering humans, its aggression would escalate significantly, often targeting the victim's face during attacks. The sloth bear's large claws led to cases where the face was completely ripped off the skull. In the rare instances where victims survived the attacks, they suffered the loss of their eyes, noses, or cheeks due to the bear's claws and teeth. As time went on, the bear grew increasingly audacious, descending during both daytime and nighttime hours. The bear initiated its onslaught in the Nakbara Hills, located east of the town of our security, approximately 105 miles northwest of Bangalore in Mysore state. It established its territory amidst the myriad of boulder-strewn hill slopes, allowing it to descend and forage in the fields. As its audacity grew, the bear began to harass people during both daylight and nighttime hours, employing the typical sloth bear approach of targeting the victims' faces with its claws and teeth. Survivors of these attacks often endured the loss of one or both eyes, some having their noses severely bitten, while others suffered through cheek lacerations. Tragically, those who perished had their faces brutally torn from their heads, with at least 3 victims partially consumed. The bear's depredations initially came to the attention of Kenneth Anderson when a distressed elderly acquaintance named Alan Buck urgently sent him a postcard, beseeching his presence at his residence, a shrine situated between our security and Shimoga. Buck's 22-year-old son had fallen victim to the bear, meeting a fatal mauling at 9 p.m., unintentionally disturbing the bear while it was feasting on fallen figs. Without anticipating the arduousness of the hunt, Anderson arrived ill-prepared for an extended expedition. Armed with only an electric torch, a 405 Winchester rifle, and a solitary change of clothes, he had underestimated the demands of the task at hand. Arriving at the shrine in the early evening, Anderson devised a plan to wait until darkness fell before attempting to shoot the bear. Commencing his search in the vicinity of the fig trees, he traversed 1.5 miles without catching sight of the elusive creature. Undeterred, he proceeded to scour the groundnut fields, but his efforts proved fruitless. Eventually, Anderson reluctantly returned to the shrine, having exhausted his immediate options. Determined to succeed, he embarked on 2 subsequent nocturnal expeditions, both without success. By noon the following day, Anderson was led to what was believed to be the bear's den. After hurling stones into the crevice, yielding no response, he made the decision to return to Bangalore, urging Buck to promptly notify him via telegram should the bear launch another attack. A month later, tragedy struck in the small town of Sakrapadna, nestled between Shipmacular and Onkador, as 2 woodcutters fell victim to the bear, suffering severe mauling, with one of them tragically succumbing to their injuries. Lee Anderson received a summons from the district forest officer of Chikmagalur, urging him to come and eliminate the bear. Seeking more specific information about the bear's whereabouts, Anderson requested precise coordinates. It took 10 days to receive a response, stating that the bear resided in a hill loch situated approximately 3 miles from the town, adjacent to a footpath leading to a lake known as Iron Gear. Additionally, it was disclosed that the bear had recently attacked a forest guard during a routine patrol. With this information in hand, Anderson departed for Chikmagalur, establishing his base of operations in a small house owned by the Mysore Forest Department. The following afternoon, at around 4:30, a man rushed to the bungalow, informing Anderson that the bear had mauled his brother, a cattle grazer, near the hill where the bear was believed to have its lair. Equipped with a rifle, a torch, and the assistance of 3 or 4 helpers, Anderson embarked on a journey into the jungle, covering a distance of 6 miles. After an hour and a half, they encountered a densely overgrown hill. However, the helpers refused to proceed any further, and Anderson continued on his own, relying on the general directions provided by the victim's brother regarding the location of the attacks. After an extensive search amidst the dense foliage, Anderson's ears caught the faint moans of the victim. He discovered the man lying unconscious and horrifically mutilated at the base of a tree. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, as the man's life hung by a thread, Anderson carried him a short distance. However, his efforts were cut short when he sprained his ankle and collapsed in agony. Tragically, the victim succumbed to his injuries at 5 o'clock in the morning. Forest officials and a group of villagers later discovered Anderson, and he was promptly hospitalized in Chikmagalur for a week to recover. Upon his return to the hunt, Anderson learned that, in his absence, the bear had attacked 2 men along the Iron-Clear leg path. Arriving at Sakrapatna, he was informed that the bear had developed a habit of frequenting fields adorned with borum trees, located a mile from the village. Positioned at the site from 5 p.m., Anderson spent the night stationed at the foot of the largest tree, hoping that the bear would make its appearance around 11 p.m. As the hours ticked by, Anderson heard the bear digging for roots in the distance. An hour later, the bear approached the borum tree, prompting Anderson to shine his torch upon it. Startled, the bear rose up on its hind legs in alarm. Seizing the opportunity, Anderson swiftly fired a shot into the bear's chest, bringing an end to the arduous pursuit, ending the bear's reign of terror. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with your